Hi, I'm Jules Payne of Ajna Yoga Therapy College and Studio in Victoria, BC, Canada. Today we're talking about the squatting lesson. So you may have already done the squatting lesson with Elena, that awareness through movement lesson. Squatting is so important to learn as skill building to help yourself to prevent a fall. So concepts that she spoke about were equal and opposite forces, particularly the head and the pelvis moving in equal and opposite directions. So, for example, this being a squat. As we come down, head forward, pelvis back. Elena also taught us some skill building, particularly in how to get out of a chair. So, coming towards the edge of the chair and squatting to come up, and then squatting to come down. Now, in yoga therapy, we have a number of different tools we can use that can help us to illustrate this concept. Chair pose or Utkatasana shape being the main one. So let's take a look at that. Come to stand about hip distance apart, feet parallel to each other. And then as you start to bend your knees, the pelvis moves back. The head comes forward and down. So we already do this in yoga, but sometimes instead of the head forward and down, sort of a little bit more of a neutral or even a slightly flexed spine, what we do is bring hands to the heart or arms up over the head, which asks for a little bit more extension of the spine. So to illustrate this concept of squatting, what you can do instead is this: head down, moving forward, pelvis back. And we can do lots of different options. One great one is coming up and down. So great for building strength as well. So let's go ahead from standing. Take a breath to inhale, and as you exhale, pelvis moves back, head moves forward and down, arms come behind you. And we can move our way back up, press down into the heels, lift up, maybe even arms come up. And then exhale back down. Let's try that a couple of times so we can inhale, press down to come up, and exhale to come back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Now, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, if clients are practicing standing forward fold or Uttanasana, then we just simply bring the pelvis back a little bit more as the head drops down a little bit more. If it's not comfortable or appropriate for them to have their head below their heart, particularly for any period of time, instead, you can come up to a halfway place. So we're sort of halfway between the two here. Now, let's go ahead and come all the way back up to standing. So press into the heels, lifting up. And we can try a little flow. So this is a nice chair flow you can work with your clients, starting with hands at the heart. So a little kind of adaptation of a sun salutation. We'll take a breath here to inhale and just feel that little lift of the chest. On the exhale, we'll come into that chair pose. So bringing the arms down and behind, squatting down into the chair. From here, we'll come all the way to standing. So press into the heels, inhale, come on up. Exhale, bring yourself back down into chair. That's it. Take a breath here to inhale in chair. And then as you exhale, come into your variation of that standing forward fold. So head dropping down a little bit more. Take a breath there. Then we'll bring ourselves back into chair as you're ready, taking a breath, inhaling, arms back, gazes forward and down. Taking a breath here. Press down into the heels, lift your way up. Maybe arms come up. And then exhale, hands come back to the heart. We can try that again. So we inhale, exhale, sinking down into the chair, gazes down. Press down into the heels, inhale, come back up. Exhale, come back down into chair just as you did before. Take a breath in chair. From there, find in your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold, pausing here as far as you want to go. We'll come back up into chair, taking that breath, and then press down into the heels, inhaling to lift up, and exhaling, coming back to the heart. So we can work with that variation of chair to get that equal and opposite force. So head forward, pelvis back. Now, you can also work with variations of something like goddess. So just feet a little bit wider apart. So I have my feet now just a little wider apart in that goddess pose. And same thing, I can come down and then come back up. And maybe we come into a halfway place. So we come down and then we come up a little bit into goddess. And then we come down arms behind, and then up a little bit more into goddess. So feeling here that same connection, so good for building that strength in the legs. That's it. And then we can come all the way up and hands back to the heart. A twist variation can be really nice too if the clients are okay with doing a little bit of a twist in their spine. So here's what I mean by that. We can take an inhale, maybe even those arms come up. Exhale, coming into that flex forward variation of goddess. Taking a breath to inhale to come back up. So your exhale, come down a little bit, come into a twist. You can take your hands down onto the thighs or hands to heart. And then we'll press down into the heels, bring ourselves back up. Exhale, come back down onto the other side. So maybe hands on thighs or maybe hands at the heart. Still gazes down. And then inhale up. Let's do one more from side to side. Exhale, coming down, gazes down. Inhale up. Last time. Exhale down. And then coming all the way back up on the inhale. And exhaling, hands back to the heart. So we'll talk about different variations, different yoga therapy tools that we can use for this squatting concept when we do the module together. For now, have a little think of what other particularly standing movements that we can talk about to illustrate this equal and opposite connection to catch yourself before you fall.